Welcome back to Kamen Rider Review, episode number 66. This one discussing episodes 5 through 8 of Kamen Rider Skyrider. Oh, and here's a little fun fact. I'm getting close to basically with these episodes for this series. I'm almost out of 1970s when it comes to watching stuff for Kamen Rider. The only of the three Tokusatsu series I have definitely finished the 70s for is Super Sentai. Kamen Rider's going to join it really soon. You might think it was Male Heroes, and the Male Heroes started in 1982, so don't want to learn about that one. Okay, now in these particular 4 episodes, yes, these 4 episodes, where, like, the plot of these ones are kind of weird. Like, by the way, the monsters one, we have a wasp monster, a mushroom monster, yes, a mushroom monster, a mantis monster who basically is basically worshiper Satan, and a centipede. The wasp monster basically, his whole thing is takes down a frickin' airliner, which I believe this was actually the first time any of the villain organizations at this point had actually done a frickin' airplane, because this has never happened before. Not in Kamen Rider. This has happened once in Super Sentai. It happened in Go Ranger for like one episode. Yep, and this is basically the episode. If you see a picture of it, it's the episode where Kamen Rider has a little girl riding on his back, like she's basically in a fairy tale. Yeah, and apparently she knows exactly where the island is. And by the way, 5 is the first episode of the series to not feature General Monster. Yeah, he's nowhere to be seen this episode. The leader himself does not make an appearance. There's no voiceover for him, which is kind of weird. We do see a base for them. Maybe he's taking an episode up after the fact that he had to basically run away after episode 4. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but he's definitely in episode 6 to 8. So eventually, after locating, they do find the island. Of course, they find the father, and of course, and here's the thing: only they confirmed one of the passengers was killed by Neo Shocker. Aside from this, they rescue everybody, and everyone's able to go home via boat. Yep, but definitely a good episode for that one. 6 is mostly just now the wasp person is now a woman this time. It was a wasp. That was basically 5. 6 basically is almost spreading hallucinations. At one point, the mushroom monster decided to pose as a nurse to a little girl who's close to the Kamen Rider, and the whole thing this one is all about what temperature the hands are, and she could tell which one's different because the one who's the actual one's got warm hands, and the one who doesn't got cold hands. Yeah, it's a good character piece for this one. It's not really all that much here. Mainly the thing for Shocker I want to do, Neo Shocker, they just want to kill Skyrider. Yeah. 7 mostly. The plot of this one is that the mantis monster wants to basically have these eggs hatch and basically launch. This episode also features the debut of the European branch. Basically the European branch of Neo Shocker, where we see people from these foreign countries: Russia, India, Egypt. I'm trying to think, it was about 6 of them in this episode. It was Russia, India, I think it was Belgium, basically various countries meeting in the European headquarters. But they mentioned, the Japanese branch is having trouble. Send a cyborg, which they don't do much anything at all. It is interesting though, we see that Paris, by the way, the headquarters is in Paris. Under the Arch de Rome, that's where the headquarters is, which is an interesting place for it. Unknown if the cameras will go here. I have no idea, because the cameras don't really leave Japan at all, unless of course they're one of the previous Kamen Riders. Yep. And aside from that one little plot thread, mostly put in the case of this one is like, kidnapping children in order to, kidnap a couple kids to activate some eggs. That's it. And of course, he does kidnap him, but he doesn't sacrifice him. not real much there. But in the case of the very 8th episode of the series, this one features sort of something we might see an ally. Excuse me, where he's a karate expert, where he runs away from the Oshaka, considered a deserter, and you might think, basically this guy, it seems like, oh, is he going to become a new version of Rare Man? No, he actually, the whole thing with him running away was nothing more than a big fat lie. Yeah, it was basically something just deployed to get him to the base, and he was asked when he was his human guys, was this place you're modeling? And Kamen Rider was like, no, this is not it. Must be a different location. And the place is, if I can tell you, is destroyed, and the centipede monster is destroyed. And of course, Planet of something next. Yeah. But not much to say these 4 episodes. It seems like they're just doing like very weird plots this one. I would probably say that the weakest plot, in my opinion, is probably for episode number... I'd probably say it's probably 7, maybe. Yeah. Excuse me. 6 is an okay one. I would say the best ones is probably, in my opinion, 5 and 8. Yeah. But not much to say about these episodes. Also, well, much longer now till we get rid of the first General German Monster. He's only here because we're at episode 8. We only have 9 more episodes for this guy, and he's done. And in the case of the Mentor, he, of course, here's the strange thing about him. He does not get involved with the plot. So it's like the Precious Body. He's just there just to give him advice. He does take a small role in episode 5, but he doesn't do much of anything. That's kind of the weakness of this character. But he's only around for not even 9 episodes. He's only around for 5 more episodes before he's done. I'm not going to reveal exactly what happens with him. Does he die? No. I will reveal that when I get to episode 13. Yep. But yeah, this particular episode review, I was planning to do a Kamen Corner, but not much time with that one. Also, we do review a couple more abilities for Skyrider, where his eyes can basically track someone on the road, and he's got very good ears. Well, he's also got very good hearing thanks to his helmet he wears. Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I think that would happen like episode... I think it was may have been episode 7. I think it was. Yeah, 7. But I like that we still reveal more about Skyrider in these episodes, which is quite nice. Oh, in case you're curious though, is there women part of this show? Yes. And is like the original Kamen Rider series where they disappear after a very short period of time. Yes. Excuse me. Not him yet. There is Midori, who made her debut back in episode 1. And she's there until episode 17. Until she's dropped from the series. You have Yumi, who made a debut episode 3. And she is here for a good chunk of the series. Yeah, that's quite interesting. She disappears at 17, comes back in 33 in there for pretty much the rest of it. Yeah, it's almost like some of these characters are dropped from the series for no reason. There's also Muchi, made her debut in episode 2. Her last appearance episode 15, so not much longer for her. Imatida, first appearance episode 1. Last appearance episode 16. So, Nomura. It hasn't been that many debut yet. That was Aki Sagawa, who not yet. There are others who are probably going to make their debut, but not just yet per se. Well, there is also one character who does make debut in episode 6, Kano. Yeah, she's in episode 6 and she returns episode 14. Though she's just sporadically into like the final episode. Yeah, and it's kind of weird though that General Monster is credited to be in episode 5, and yet he's not there. I'm not kidding. He's not in the episode, which is kind of weird, to say the least. Yep. But yeah, that's particularly a particular view. Stay tuned for tomorrow for more Kamen Rider and, of course, a Comic Corner. Maybe 2 at least. Okay? Next video. Bye.